happy Saturday. This is Minding Your Business with the Lancaster Chamber of Commerce. I'm Chris Spiker of Antelope Valley Florist. Board operator Kenneth Guzman.
Hey!
Hey Kenny, how you doing?
Good.
Co-host Aaron Goldstein, Goldstein Digital. Hey Aaron.
Hey,
Hey, who's our first guest today?
our first guest today is Dudley Jennings from JMS Merchant and Event Services.
Hey Dudley.
Hey, how are you, Chris? Good to see you.
Well, it's good to see you. Hey, we've known each other a long time.
It's been a good long time.
A good long time. Back to B&I days, for sure. Maybe sooner.
Yes, it goes back quite a ways.
And I heard your pitch. You heard my pitch every week for a couple of years.
Look forward to it every week.
So tell me a little bit about JMS Merchant Event Services.
Well, started about 12 years ago, and I really enjoy providing the service because it's ubiquitous. Everybody in the community that runs a business, most of them accept credit card payments or electronic payments, and I'm happy to provide that for them.
Now you're involved with all the chambers of commerce. They've always got the wireless hand device for
Yep.
credit card sales at the different events. There must be a couple hundred events in this valley in the course of a year.
Yes, there's lots of events, and I definitely recommend chamber membership. But in addition to your membership, you have to show up. You got to get to know the people, and my business exists today primarily because of my relationship with chambers of commerce. And I can't think of anything more important to me over the years than being involved.
You know, that rings a bell because you do show up, and you had the unique ability to take photographs.
Well,
You
yes.
showed up with a camera, you took lots of pictures. Sometimes people thought you were the staff photographer.
It took a long time for me to convince people that my real business wasn't photography, except if they looked at my pictures. The quality wasn't always necessarily peak as some of the local photographers do. But I realized after a while that going out to the events, getting to know the people, and sharing them and sharing the events actually benefited me in the long run. And I could relax and do that and promote their businesses, and by default, my business was promoted as well. So I recommend that. Get out to the events and share the events with your friends and family, and everybody benefits.
Yeah, you know, I don't think anybody could ever say that Dudley Jennings did a commercial. You were just there.
I did a couple, but the pleasure for me and the relaxation always comes from trying to help somebody else as opposed to promoting myself. It's much easier to talk positively about somebody else than to talk about yourself. So I took the easy way out.
Well, there's nothing easy about it, attending all the events and showing up and buying all the tickets and all that.
Yeah.
So a little bit about credit cards. What is, now credit cards have a chip. What is that about?
Well, it was an idea that was pretty much popular overseas in Europe, and then Visa decided that they had to make it popular in the United States. It's a great mechanism in theory, but unfortunately, I'm not a biggest fan of it because what it has done is added a lot of cost to merchants, the processors, and ultimately to the public. And technically, it hasn't been the most efficient system. You might actually go to places like Walmart or Walgreens or even a local merchant, and they'll have trouble processing the cards at the point of sale.
Right.
You'll see even some places where they've taped over that slot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was meant to protect us, but it's sort of like the TSA. I'm not sure that for all the trouble that you go through that it's worth the headache and the cost.
Yeah, because now I have to read the directions on the window. It says leave the card in.
Yes,
I'm like, oh my goodness, this is taking 10 seconds.
yes. It takes longer to process, and I'm not sure it's much more of a protector than from before, but it is an industry standard, so in a lot of ways we're forced to kind of do it, but there's some situations where it's just not the best thing for the merchant. If I could go on and talk about merchants in particular who take tips, restaurants, spas, the country club, who have to be my client as well, because mostly the cards don't allow you to add a tip after the transaction. So merchants that traditionally take tips, you write it on the receipt and then they add it later, they no longer can do that.
Ooh.
Except now some of the processors are doing this now on the back end of that technology, and it's sad to me that they wouldn't have done that before so that these businesses didn't suffer the loss of opportunity because of that technology change.
Yeah, they knew it was coming.
Yeah, and they planned for one end of it, which protected their interest, I guess, but they didn't plan for the merchant who suffers, because some of my favorite places I go to, I mean, I have a sushi restaurant I go to.
Yeah.
If you use a chip card, you cannot tip them after the fact. You have to tell them when you get the bill how much the tip is.
Yeah.
And it's just inconvenient, and it may impact whether or not somebody actually gets a tip or what kind of tip they give. So
And for the server to say, hey, don't forget the tip.
exactly, it's a little bit of a different interaction with the customer, and we get used to what we normally do, and we'd like to be able to walk into a restaurant, appreciate the service, and then tip the person appropriately at the end of it without it being awkward. So thank God they're finally coming around. Some of the processors are now making it possible so that happens, but they should have done it up front.
As a retailer, the cards are always coming out, which I'm glad. That's a form of payment. But in the flower business, sometimes, believe it or not, there are $5 and $6 and $7 sales,
Sure.
and they're using a card
Yes.
because they have no money. They have no cash.
Right. Well, it's a great convenience to use credit cards, but especially for the type of transaction you talk about, whether it be the flower shop or a small merchant that sells, a $2 or $3 item.
Right.
The smaller the item, the more prohibitive the usage of the card is, because the 25-cent charge on $2,
Right.
that's 10%.
And I'm trying to build up my average transaction.
Yeah, exactly. So, all these things have to be taken into consideration. Sometimes your processor can help mitigate that situation, but it's not automatic. So you really have to look at what you're doing and take into consideration the type of transactions, the volume of transactions, and deal with somebody who is sympathetic to your pain as well as to their profit.
Yeah. How do people get in touch with you? Because they may want to ask a question or two.
Yeah. Me, because I've loved this business since I've been involved in it. It's not an easy business to love, as a matter of fact. But you can Google Dudley Jennings, and I should come up. Or you could Google my phone number, 661-478-0657, I should come up. Or you can start out Googling JMS Merchant Services, I should come up. Or go to any local Chamber of Commerce website, and you probably will find me.
We should be
Find
waving
me
a flag
there.
or something, man.
No, I just, in the age of technology, you can't be that difficult to find. If you can't find somebody with their basic information, I'm not so sure you should be dealing with that person.
Positively. We asked the attorney, James Charlton, one time for his phone number. He says, Google me. I go, there you go. There you go.
It's great, yeah.
I'm not going to write a phone number down.
I will tell you, I seldom do business with people unless I can have some reference point for them, and the internet is a great source for that, and Google by default, you just put it in, see what comes up, positive or negative, and you weigh that information, and then you make a decision.
See, you're in the merchant services business, so tell me, what is this where I'm at my flower shop at 8 in the morning on a Monday, and the first call of the day is somebody offering me merchant services, what your rate is, and hey, we just want to come out, and we just want to, and that goes on all day long, and it's not just my business, it's what is going on?
Yeah, well,
Is there that much money in it?
There isn't actually that much money in it. The percentage that revenue that we get paid is very small, and you need to aggregate a certain amount of customers and volume. However, unfortunately, it's one of the most competitive businesses probably in the world, and certainly in the United States. And everybody and their cousin does it. And the way that the business is done is they recruit a lot of people. Those calls are usually coming from like sweatshops or telephone banks, and those people get a certain commission if somebody picks up the phone, and if somebody actually says yes, send out a closer to my business so they can put me in a headlock and close the deal.
Yeah, it'll only take 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly right. Unfortunately, if that was just the case and they were giving you a really good deal, I would be very much in favor of that, because I think you should look at what you're paying and look at where you can save. Unfortunately, most of those people, probably 99, if not 100%, they're not putting you in a better situation. They're going to send out somebody who's going to just close you on a deal, and often they won't be totally honest with you. Most of those people that come out, they last maybe 30 or 60 days. They're basically trying to hustle a deal and get some money, and then
Right.
It's a tough business to do door-to-door sales, which I've never done. I grown my business through relationships at the Chambers, at the Rotary, at the Kiwanis, and like that. But anyway, those people come out, they close you on whatever they can close you on, and they walk away and they'll tell you whatever you need to hear to close a deal, and they walk away and you realize that you've been severely harmed by that relationship.
3 hours later.
Unfortunately, yes. Time you'll never get back.
Speaking of time, 2 minutes in this session. Can we have you back for another session?
I enjoy being here, and you're asking me great questions. I like to have the public informed, and it gives me an opportunity to speak on the things that are very important to me and to them.
So just 2 minutes, but as a business owner, what are the key things that I should be thinking about to get the best deal for merchant services?
Well, if you can, and it's not always possible, you should deal with somebody you know. And if you don't know somebody personally in the community, there's not a lot of people like me who are actually full-time doing this business and accountable. But you probably have a friend who has a processor. Get a referral, and then, those are the two basic things. Another thing is you need to learn a little bit more about the business. It wouldn't hurt to Google it about pricing. 98% of the people in the United States have a certain type of pricing, which is not the best for them. Interchange pricing is the best, and we can talk more about that later if we have an opportunity, but you need to figure out what that is. It's the most transparent pricing in the industry.
Sounds like you'd be happy to give somebody a second opinion.
Any time of the day. And
Do a little shopping first before you sign anything.
yeah, and there's one way to buy to make sure that you are getting the absolute best price and you're comparing apples to apples.
Apples to apples,
Yes.
Hey, at one time, how many chambers of commerce were you a member of?
At the peak, I had a bit of a problem. But I thought I'd do a 12-step program, and I belonged to 12 at first, but then I ended up at 15. At the peak, I was at 15 different chambers.
All those lunches, all those mixers, a great way to meet people.
It was awesome, yes.
Did you know who you were, and did people start looking the same after a while?
It was a really great experience. I got to meet really, really great people in the region.
Dudley Jennings of JMS Merchant Event Services. Stick around, we'll be right back.
I really appreciate the time here. Thank you.
Hey, welcome back to Minding Your Business with the Lancaster Chamber of Commerce. I'm Chris Spiker of Antelope Valley Florist, board operator Kenneth Guzman, and co-host Aaron Goldstein, Goldstein Digital, and that music by Lions Named Leo out of Bakersfield, California. Pretty cool, huh?
Good stuff.
Good stuff. And part two for Dudley Jennings,
Pardon.
JMS Merchant Services, Event Services.
Yes.
We were talking a little bit about the services.
Yes. Well, I really enjoyed the merchant services business, and after belonging to all those chambers and doing all that stuff, I thought, you know what, I could probably try to figure a way to get away cheap or free, and I became a travel agent, which also went hand in hand with the services we provide for events, which is, I've worked with Rotary and all these other organizations for many years. I'm thinking the Plain and Turtle has an event this weekend.
That's right.
They're our customers.
Yeah, we were thinking, I think Dudley needs about 4 more things on his plate. He's not doing enough.
Yeah. Well, it's given me the opportunity to run away and travel, and I've really enjoyed that. But it also gives me another opportunity to provide like trips potentially for nonprofits to provide at fundraisers and things like that. So that's come in handy on occasions. We've done that a couple of times for like the Pondell Chamber. Are we allowed to say? Are we allowed to
Oh,
say?
yeah. Hey, we have no fences here.
Okay, well, there you
no
go.
clubs, no lines, no fences.
Yeah,
It's a big valley.
It's all good.
I think you get bigger by talking about everybody
Yes.
and not excluding anybody.
Right.
So, yeah, we love the chambers.
So we'll talk about more people.
Yeah.
The event service is something that we provide. We provided for Circle Bridge, which raises money for Ecuador and Guatemala. We've done e-ticketing for them every year. They usually hold an event, which is coming up in a month or so at the country club. A variety of them, people we do those events
Is that
for.
with Caroline Rodriguez?
That's with Caroline Rodriguez, yes.
Yeah, gotcha.
So we do e-ticketing for them. We're doing e-ticketing for the Save Foundation. We provide wireless credit card terminals temporarily for all these organizations, all that. So we love working with nonprofits, and we do that literally across the country, everything from golf tournament, casino nights, you name it. And we have the ability, which is kind of unique nationally, to actually be able to provide a wireless terminal on their existing merchant account. We don't have the merchant account, but we're
Wow.
able to marry the technology. So
How
that
much
they
does
do.
that cost?
It's very friendly.
That's what I wanted you to say. It's usually free, probably.
Not exactly free, but we do try our best to support the nonprofits, and we make it as affordable as possible, especially our regular clients, which of their many, Assistance League, you name it, Value Assist, all those good folks. And we just love to be of help to the community, because this community has been very good to me, and I love it here, and I have lots of friends and lots of people, and I raise my kids here, and anything I can do.
4 kids.
Yes, 4 kids.
My
Yeah,
goodness.
Yes, yeah.
And they're grown.
They're all grown. They're all
I
grown.
thought they were still in kindergarten.
Yeah, the baby's 35. He's a professor at AV College,
How about
English professor.
Congratulations.
And the oldest just turned 39 a month ago, and it's we love this valley. We absolutely do.
Okay, so I see pictures of you sitting on the beach in the British Virgin Islands,
Yes.
and then you're telling people you're from the Antelope Valley, and they're looking at the map and they're going, okay. What do you like about the Antelope Valley?
Well, I'll tell you something. I was born in the British Virgin Islands, and I'm actually probably shouldn't say it, but I'm still a British national. And I often told people when I got here, I am so excited about being in the Antelope Valley because it reminds me of home. It's the closest thing I've come to
Really?
California that's home. You know, when I first got here, I lived down in L.A., Hollywood, in the Valley, and I'm here. And they said, there must be something wrong. You're from an island. How could the desert be the closest thing to home? Well, I said, well, the feeling of it. And it's not necessarily the wind or anything else. It is the fact that it's a community. You know, I know so many people here, so many people know me. I feel at home just about anywhere I go. And the closest reminder I have to that is my actual home in the Virgin Islands. So, yeah, this feels like home to me. And it's ironic. I've been spending too much time, people say, in the Virgin Islands right now. Probably 4 months, 5 months a year now for the last 2 or 3 years. But every time I'm leaving to come back here, I feel good about it. I feel like, you know, I'm going to come back. I got lots of friends. You know, I got my favorite little spots I like to go, and everybody knows my name. And hey, Dudley, welcome back.
Yeah, you don't want to be lonely anyway.
No, and no, this is home. This is definitely home. I absolutely love the Antelope Valley for that. And I love seeing you, Chris.
Yeah, well, I love being here. I love being able to pick up the phone and ask you to come in and give a chat.
You know, I really appreciate it, and I thought this would be good. And hey, if I get business from it, that's fine. But I said, wow, an opportunity to see Chris again and kind of sit and chit chat and be able to tell the public things that have been on my mind in terms of the industry, which is very important because it's about people and their money. And you really need to be alert to what you're being offered and what you're being told in this industry because it's just smart. It's smart business. And read the agreements as much as you can. You know, there's always a bunch of stuff that you can't read, but you know, get it very clear and don't deal with the people on the phone for the most part. If you have a referral, lean on that, and that person should have some experience with somebody that you know, and just make sure you're protected. I've been called in on occasion. Somebody says, "Come in and help this guy because somebody's got him in a bad deal." You should, first of all, one thing, you should not be signing any leases today.
Yeah.
The credit card business is too competitive. You shouldn't be buying your own equipment, one. You shouldn't be signing any leases, and you should not be signing any contract in merchant services today that if you decide to change your mind next month, that you cannot get out of, okay? If I can tell you nothing else, these guys that are automatically signing you for 3 years and 4 years and 5 years with leases, show them the door.
You know, this is like really good business
Yes.
information, really good Chamber of Commerce stuff.
Sure,
Because these poor business owners, they're just like running, and we all think we're really smart. So whatever we do is the right decision, and then we go, why did I do that?
Yeah. You're busy doing what you do, but at the end of the day, and like I said, those few things that I'm telling you right now, because it still shocks me. I mean, I was called in, my heart was broken recently. I went to a business and somebody said, you got to go help him, check him out. And I go and he's like, he signed a lease with a new company who promised him he wasn't signing a lease, and he had one with the existing company. And leases are like,
Now he's got 2 leases.
they're like a bad disease. You can't get out of them.
Yeah.
Once you sign a lease, you're stuck. You should never sign one. In 12 years, I've never signed a lease with a customer. But those people that come in, usually that's what they want because it's a real good commission for the sales rep, but it's a real bad deal for the merchant. So
Say that again.
it's a real good commission for the sales rep, but it's a really bad deal for the merchant.
Yeah.
So watch out for that.
So that could be a couple $100 a month or a percent
Yeah,
or
it's
two
usually
off.
thousands of dollars. It's a terminal that if you were my customer or a variety of other providers, not just me, that provide equipment for you to use while you're processing with them, which would be free. These folks get you to sign for a lease, and you pay thousands of dollars for a piece of equipment that costs us usually hundreds, but we will place that equipment with you because if we'll recoup that over time, because we have a customer. The cost, as competitive as the merchant service business, that's where you get 10, 20 calls a day. People go the extra length to try to get the business. So you don't have to pay them a lease for them to do business with them. They should be giving you incentive to do business with you.
The other calls I get a lot of are working capital.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you qualify for $75,000 right now.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a very dicey proposition.
I'm trying to sell flowers.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop it. You're driving me crazy.
Well, it just shows you the difficulty of running a small business and all the stuff that comes at you sideways. And unfortunately, if you're in a situation where you're doing everything you can to survive in today's rough economy, maybe you could use like an extra few dollars to do something with. And you're being offered it, and it sounds glowing, it sounds great, but then you find yourself in a worse situation if you're able to actually get involved with these folks. So
wow.
You have to be wise, Be wise, be wary out there.
Yeah, I will call you when I need something.
Well, I appreciate it. Well, you're already my client, and I really appreciate the business that you've done with me over the years, and I value that, and I value all the people that do business with me locally. And when I got into the business, my goal was to be that person that you could always, ask me a question, and I would work my best to give you the best deal and do business with you.
I would listen to your pitch for years, and I thought, well, I'm in love with FTD, and boy, I was getting the short end of the love affair on that. And finally, I woke up one morning and I went, wow, everything that I do with them is overpriced.
It happens. But I've seen you evolve over the years. You become quite the brilliant businessman and marketer.
42 years, we're getting there.
Yeah.
We find new customers every day,
Yeah.
and we just have to learn how to take care of the ones we've already had and get them back as often as possible.
But all the things you do for the community and your attitudes, you're one of my role models. It's service oriented. You don't just do your business, but you're out there promoting other people's businesses. You have concept like AV Nice, which generally presents the AV as a wonderful place that it is, and we need people like you to keep that energy positive and keep things happening out there in the community, because that's what we all need, and some people are happy to go and take the profits and go quietly, but others like yourself are out there trying to help everybody else, and I really appreciate that myself.
Well, thanks.
I don't always get a chance to say that, but thank you very much.
And I know on my bucket list is coming and sitting on the beach and having either a soda or a cup of coffee with you. Watch the sunrise and maybe the sunset all in the same day.
Yeah. Please do, because I feel a little guilty because I get to run away quite often, and I've been going to some very amazing places, and I miss my friends when I'm gone. So to have one close by and to pass me a cocktail or help me adjust my beach chair, and I'll do the same for them.
There he goes, folks. You got an airplane to catch. Dudley Jennings, Googling JMS Merchant Event Services.
Yep.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you very much, Chris. Always a pleasure. Thank you, guys.